There is a continent where time doesn't simply move forward, it coils back into circles of memory. Where the ancient isn't buried, but still alive, in stone, in temples, and in the eyes of its people. Where nature isn't still, but roars through volcanoes, breathes deep in the jungle, and melts slowly through icy rivers. This is the Americas. A land of beginnings, kishin, and unhealed fractures. From forgotten civilizations to cities born of hope and exile. Every landscape has a soul. Every soul, a legend waiting to be told. And this journey is your key to unlocking 1,000 worlds hidden within one continent. So tell me, where will you begin? With the echoes of Machu Picchu, the salt flats that mirror the sky, or the streets where salsa and sorrow dance hand in hand. Come with me, from north to south, across 20 untold stories, 20 heartbeats sync to the rhythm of this land. Your compass is curiosity. The map, rewritten with every step. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share video. And now, the journey begins. The Amazon the largest tropical rainforest on Earth, is home to 1/10 of all living species on the planet. A vast expanse of nearly 3.5 million square kilometers, stretching across 9 nations, where every inch of forest holds both life and death. At the surface, it is a rolling sea of endless green. But beneath that canopy lies another world. A place where sunlight rarely touches the ground. A place where peace is only an illusion. The Amazon is not a single entity. It is a mosaic of countless ecosystems, from seasonally flooded wetlands and tangled vine-choked jungles to elevated dry forests where trees reach straight for the sky. Here, two elements define everything: water and wood. Water flows not only through the Amazon River, the largest in the world, but also through the roots, into the air, and back again as rain. Wood is the backbone of life. Towering ancient trees hold up the forest canopy, serving as shelter, hunting ground, and battleground for thousands of species. Each year, the rainy season returns, submerging vast swaths of forest beneath floodwaters. Footpaths vanish. Solid ground becomes river. And the driest place is often high in the trees. Here, survival is not for the weak. A leaf may be laced with poison. A ripe fruit could be a deadly trap. A single branch might offer refuge or conceal an ambush. Life in the Amazon is an unending cycle of strategy, evasion, adaptation, symbiosis, and counterattack. No matter how complex it gets, everything begins with the smallest of creatures. On the damp and shadowed floor of the Amazon rainforest, life begins with the smallest of creatures, but they are far from weak. Leafcutter ants, tiny warriors of the jungle, are among the most socially complex animals on the planet. They don't eat leaves. Instead, they cut them, carry them back to their nests, and use them to cultivate something else: fungus. The fungus is their sole food source in the very heart of their society. Every ant has a role: cutting, transporting, sorting, tending the fungal gardens, nursing the larvae, or guarding the queen, the only one who reproduces. A single colony can contain millions of individuals, functioning like a living machine. No leaders, yet perfect order. They communicate through pheromones, invisible scent trails, forming a living map beneath the forest floor. When you see a long line of ants winding up a tree, you're witnessing a biological symphony, where intelligence lies not in the individual, but in the collective. Nearby, in small pools of water trapped at the base of trees, a tiny poison dart frog waits in silence. Dazzling, radiant, and deadly. The toxin on its skin can kill a grown human. Indigenous tribes once used this very poison to tip their blow darts. Small though it is, the frog embodies an Amazonian survival strategy. Its vivid colors send a clear message. Touch me, and you may not live to regret it. Beneath the soil, beetles and termites never rest. They break down leaves, rotting wood, and animal waste, preventing the ecosystem from clogging and collapsing. They are the forest janitors, purifying, recycling, and keeping the wheel of life in motion. And when night falls, fireflies begin to glow. Tiny floating sparks in the darkness, like drifting stars. Their flashes are not only mating signals, but warnings in disguise. I am toxic. These small creatures form the foundation of the entire Amazon. Without them, there would be no decay, no renewal, no food for anything that follows. In the cool shadows, where sunlight barely touches the earth, life still stirs quietly, persistently. As faint light filters through the dense canopy above, an entirely different world comes into view, the mid-layer of the Amazon rainforest. Not quite the forest floor, not yet the treetops. This is the buffer zone. A space for creatures too small to soar, but perfectly adapted to climbing, leaping, and surviving between branches. A branch trembles. High-pitched chirps echo through the foliage. Tamarin monkeys, no larger than a human hand, dart from limb to limb with breathtaking speed, as if gravity were just a suggestion. Their fur may look comical, but every strand serves as camouflage against the sharp eyes of predators. Tamarins never travel alone. They live in tight-knit groups, sometimes a dozen strong. Each troop functions as a miniature society complex, cohesive, and alert. They have distinct calls for different individuals. They play, warn, share food, and when a stranger approaches, the forest falls silent as if an unseen switch has shut the sound off completely. Elsewhere, a troop of squirrel monkeys is on the move. But their goal isn't leaves, it's insects. These agile hunters are among the cleverest of the treetops. With wide eyes and long balancing tails, they search every cluster of leaves, picking off caterpillars, spiders, and other hidden prey. They aren't strict carnivores. They relish ripe fruit, especially figs. And in doing so, they become accidental gardeners dispersing seeds across the forest. Wherever those seeds land, life begins anew. Suddenly, a dark shape sweeps overhead. It's no bird. A fruit bat, the nocturnal wanderer of the Amazon, glides through the shadows. With paper-thin wings and echolocating cries, it weaves through the understory like a streak of smoke. It searches for sweet fruit, and during times of scarcity, it can become an unexpected rival to monkeys. In the same darkness, the Amazon pygmy owl sits and waits, a small but ferocious predator. One sound, one sudden movement, and its talons snap shut. This is no place for hesitation. Even a moment's delay can mean vanishing without a trace. At the forest's edge, on the slope of a leaning trunk, a green iguana basks in a beam of light. Still as stone, but behind its cold eyes lies a sensory network honed by evolution. It can shed its tail to escape. It can peel off old skin to rid itself of parasites. And its vivid green scales aren't meant to be seen, they're meant to disappear into the leaves. Just below, a coral snake glides silently over the dry litter. Its vivid red, yellow, and black pattern is a warning that needs no translation. One bite can paralyze large prey. In the Amazon, strength matters less than the illusion of danger. Survival often belongs to those who can convince others they're too risky to attack. Here beneath the thick canopy, where sunlight arrives only in pale streaks, these creatures do more than endure. They animate a miniature universe, rich with social rituals, hidden signals, and constant negotiation. This is the forest middle tier, a place of speed, of cunning, and of lives shaped by one lesson above all: silence is survival. The highest tier of the Amazon rainforest is a world unto itself, drenched in sunlight, filled with birdsong, and swept by wind. It is where life lives fully exposed. A place to touch the sun and be hunted from the sky. A throaty croak breaks the stillness, followed by a streak of color darting through the canopy. It's a toucan, its massive beak seemingly oversized for its small frame. But that beak is more than a fruit-picking tool. It acts as a biological radiator, releasing body heat in the sweltering midday sun. Toucans move from tree to tree in search of ripe figs and oily fruits. And when they're done, they spit out the seeds far from the parent tree, helping the forest sow itself anew. Not far away, a pair of red and blue macaws glide side by side. Their vivid plumage is more than beauty, it's a language. Every wing beat, every harsh call, carries meaning in a complex system of communication. Macaws don't just fly. They bite, climb, and pry with beaks hard as steel. They can live for up to 50 years in the wild, and their memory rivals that of primates. In the Amazon, intelligence is a kind of weapon. Balanced on branches as thin as thread, a creature with long limbs and a tail as agile as a fifth arm hurls itself through the air. The Amazon spider monkey, one of the rainforest's natural-born acrobats. They don't walk. They fly. With 2 hands, 2 feet, and a prehensile tail, they launch themselves across gaps in the canopy as if the trees were a stage and gravity merely a suggestion. Spider monkeys live in tight-knit groups, bound by strong social ties and shared memory. They can plan their foraging routes, communicate warnings, even deceive each other when competing for food. Small brains, perhaps, but brilliant minds of the jungle. And when the shadow of a harpy eagle sweeps across the treetops, they are the first to sound the alarm. The harpy eagle, apex predator of the canopy, is on patrol. With wings nearly 2 meters wide and legs as thick as a human wrist, the harpy doesn't chase. It waits. It watches. Then strikes with the speed of a falling thunderbolt. Its dagger-like talons can slice through monkey bone or pierce a sloth nestled among the leaves. Its enormous nest sits high in the trees, lined with carefully chosen leaves believed to repel insects and bacteria. This is not just instinct, it is craft. Deeper in the flooded forest, a flock of scarlet ibis rests after a long journey. Their crimson feathers blaze like firelight against the green. Their color comes not from birth, but from a diet rich in carotenoids found in crabs and shrimp. They are ecological indicators. If the waters are clean and full of life, the ibis return. If the forest declines, they vanish. And on bare branches, the sky's undertakers begin to gather. The king vulture does not kill. It follows death. With keen vision, it can spot a carcass from miles away, descending in silence like a sentinel of endings. Bald-headed and adorned in shades of red, orange, and violet, its gruesome appearance is a perfect design, resisting infection from rotting flesh. It eats what others will not, purging the forest of decay. The Amazon canopy is a place of display color, strength, speed, but it is also a place where weakness cannot hide. A minor injury, a careless sound, a single wrong move, and you become prey. Beneath the towering trees, where the damp forest floor is layered with rotting leaves, tangled roots, and flickers of sunlight filtering through the canopy, lies a world that moves slower, feels heavier, but is no less unforgiving. Along the muddy riverbanks, a group of capybaras, the world's largest rodents, graze calmly on soft young grasses. They are peaceful, social animals with a strange, almost serene disposition. They live in large groups, grooming one another regularly, rarely ever fighting. They have no claws, no fangs. Their only defenses are numbers and an extraordinary talent for swimming. Capybaras can stay submerged for hours to cool off. When threatened, they dive and hold their breath for over 5 minutes. Their enemies include black caimans, pumas, and the mighty anaconda. And in a world where every moment is a struggle for survival, avoiding conflict is a survival strategy of its own. Nearby, a smaller rodent, the agouti, carefully digs into the soft earth. It searches for seeds from the towering Brazil nut tree, whose fruits fall like bombs from 40 meters above. The shell is so hard that only the agouti's powerful incisors can crack it. But the agouti doesn't eat them all. It buries some for later, and often forgets. The forgotten seeds germinate after the rains, giving rise to new trees. In this way, the agouti becomes one of the rainforest's most important seed dispersers, an accidental gardener. Not far away, in the shadows, an armored creature rummages through the leaf litter beneath the trees. The armadillo, the American pangolin, is one of the forest's most silent residents. With a round body, a shell as tough as armor, and powerful digging claws, it scours the forest floor in search of termites, ants, and insects. But its diet is not limited to bugs. It also snacks on fallen fruit, eggs, and even carrion when needed. An undiscerning scavenger, both a quiet warrior and a tireless cleaner. When threatened, the armadillo doesn't flee. It curls into a tight ball of spiny defense and waits. Waits for danger to pass, for darkness to return, for life to resume. Not fast, not fierce, not feared. Yet thanks to its shield and unshakable patience, the armadillo has survived in these forests for millions of years. During the rainy season, when the forest floor floods, life bursts forth from the mud dart frogs, beetles, scorpions, and the Amazon's giant centipedes emerge in force. Each carries a weapon, venom, armor, or near invisibility among the mulch and debris. Every step on the forest floor could be your last if it lands in the wrong place. Now and then, the silence is shattered by a loud crack, not thunder, but a Brazil nut pod plummeting from above. From that height, the impact can kill a small animal. It's why many species only forage at night, when the trees are less likely to drop their deadly fruit. In the Amazon, even the trees can kill unintentionally. And perhaps the strangest inhabitant of the forest floor is the sloth. Though typically found in the canopy, it must descend to the ground to relieve itself, a journey that turns into a gamble with death. It crawls as slowly as a shadow, Its coarse fur grows green algae, blending it perfectly with moss and lichen. But its slowness is its defense. Sloths are unappealing prey, tough-skinned, parasite-laden, and with little meat to offer. They survive not by fleeing, but by being overlooked. A ghost of the forest cloaked in moss. The forest floor is not loud, it does not dazzle. But it is the foundation. The place where everything begins and where the smallest, most overlooked creatures keep the wheel of life turning. When the sun fades, a different Amazon awakens. The birds fall silent, the colors vanish. Only the sound of wind slipping through the canopy remains. The soft rustle of falling leaves. The faint breath of creatures that do not wish to be found. This is the realm of those who move without sound. High in the trees, a lone predator waits. The margay, the most agile tree-climbing cat in the Amazon. It is small, no larger than a house cat, but a masterful hunter. Unlike leopards or jaguars, the margay needs no ground. It lives its entire life among the branches, leaping effortlessly from tree to tree, hanging upside down by its tail, striking prey in midair. It can mimic the cries of a baby monkey to lure an unsuspecting troop closer. It is a specialist in deception, and in the dark, what sounds like a harmless call can lead straight to death. On the forest floor, a dark shape glides like a whisper. The cougar, also known as the mountain lion, is one of the Amazon's last great hunters. Unlike the jaguar, which dominates more northern regions, the cougar is elusive, reserved, and rarely seen by human eyes. It doesn't roar. It doesn't growl. It gives away nothing before it strikes. Every pounce is lethal, not because of brute strength, but because of surgical precision. Its prey may include monkeys, capybaras, even Amazonian deer. It doesn't choose the weakest. It chooses the least aware. In the flooded lowlands, a massive anaconda lies still, motionless as driftwood. No gleaming eyes, no flicking tongue, no ripple. But every scale on its body feels the vibrations of the water, the slightest tremor from a fish, a bird, or a deer come to drink. When the moment is right, it coils like a spring and explodes with astonishing speed. It doesn't kill with a bite, it crushes. Until bones snap, lungs collapse, and life disappears without a sound. In this forest, the best killer is not the fastest. It is the most patient. High above, the Amazon pygmy owl calls into the darkness. Its voice is soft, but it echoes through the canopy like a warning. These nocturnal hunters never blink. Their ears are so sensitive, they can track a mouse beneath a blanket of fallen leaves. They dive like living arrows, silent, unseen. And when their wings open in midair, the hunt is already over. The owl's enemy waits above. The Amazon tree snake, a shadow of moss green, coiled around a branch like a vine. It doesn't stalk prey on the ground. It waits above, motionless, for chicks to fledge from the nest. Stillness is its greatest weapon. It does not hiss, it does not bite with venom. It simply tightens, and every squeeze ends in silence. But not all nocturnal hunters rely on claws or venom. Some require only a single drop of blood. A streak of light glides past the Amazon river dolphin, or boto, weaving through the submerged forest. With tiny eyes, blush pink skin, and an elongated beak, it resembles both a mythical creature and a curious child. They move in pairs, using echolocation to navigate the maze of tree roots beneath the flooded canopy. They are not aggressive hunters, but their intelligence makes any fish think twice. Boto play. They use sticks to invite companionship. And they remember routes as if carrying a map etched into their minds. Beneath the flooded forest, a round shadow drifts silently through the submerged trees. No fangs, no fins, no sound. The Amazonian manatee, the gentlest soul of the rainforest. It grazes on aquatic plants and soft river leaves, rarely ever touching land. With a thick layer of fat, a slow heartbeat, and kind, unblinking eyes, the manatee is serenity made flesh in a world ruled by teeth and claws. But in its gentleness lies its greatest vulnerability. When waters recede, when fires scorch the forest, when motorboats carve through the wetlands, the manatee is the first to vanish. But not all underwater dwellers are so gentle. In quiet waters, red-bellied piranhas gather in dense schools. With razor-edged teeth and a bite force that defies their size, they can strip flesh in seconds. They don't always attack, but when triggered by blood, movement, or vulnerable prey, they surge forward in a frenzy unmatched. As night deepens, a massive silhouette glides through the shallows. The arapaima, also called the Amazonian giant, is one of the largest freshwater fish on Earth. Up to 3 meters long and weighing over 200 kilograms, it moves like a living submarine. It has no fangs and doesn't lunge like a crocodile, yet it is a near-perfect predator. It swallows prey with a single gulp and can leap clear of the water to catch birds in flight. Even more extraordinary, the arapaima does not rely on gills alone, it breathes air. Every 15 minutes, it must surface for a breath. And if you hear a soft whoosh behind your canoe, you may be under the watchful eye of one of the world's most ancient beings. Near the riverbed, schools of shimmering fish flash silver, but they are no less formidable. The Amazon electric eel can unleash shocks of up to 600 volts, enough to kill large prey or paralyze a predator. They don't use this power often, but when cornered, that jolt becomes their final, stunning defense. But the Amazon is not only a realm of wild beasts, exotic birds, or venomous snakes. It is also home to people, those who have lived here since before history had a name. Across the deep forests of Brazil, Hundreds of indigenous tribes continue to live as their ancestors did for thousands of years. They have no maps, but they know every stream, every crack in the bark of ancient trees. They have no schools, but they know which snake carries venom, which leaf cures fever, and when the forest whispers that it is time to plant. The jungle is their book, their shelter, their language, and their soul. The Yanomami, one of the largest indigenous groups in the Amazon, live deep in the forest near the border with Venezuela. They build vast circular homes called maloca, large enough to house entire communities under one roof. There, the shaman is not just a healer, but a bridge between the physical world and the spirits of the trees. The Kayapo of central Brazil are known for their vivid facial paint and their powerful voices defending the forest. They have stood before governments and cameras, speaking on behalf of the trees, the rivers, and the generations yet to be born. Farther north, the Awa people still live as nomads, just as their ancestors did. They move lightly through the forest, leaving no trace. They take only what they need. They cut no tree without reason. They are so deeply part of the forest that if the forest vanishes, they too will disappear. And there are still others uncontacted tribes, untouched by the modern world. No phones. No clothes. No word for money. Only arrows, blowpipes, and ancient songs that echo through the canopy at night. They are not primitive. They are guardians of ancient wisdom, survivors of millennia, living in harmony with the forest. And if we truly hope to protect the Amazon, we must protect not only its trees, its creatures, or its rivers, but also listen to the voices of those who have lived with it, cared for it, and belonged to it since the very beginning. The Amazon, the green heart of our planet, is a place where life is always in motion, even when the eye cannot see it. A land where every leaf, every cry, every footprint carries meaning beyond mere survival. But Brazil, the vast nation that cradles most of the Amazon, holds more than just rainforest. To the south lie the sweeping grasslands of the Cerrado, where Brazil's own lions of the plains hunt beneath fiery red sunsets. To the east rise the rugged peaks of Chapada Diamantina, where hidden waterfalls plunge from cliffs hundreds of meters high. Farther still, the vast wetlands of Pantanal unfold a world where birds, caimans, and jaguars share the same waters. And finally, the Atlantic coast, lined with coral reefs, mangrove forests, and sleepy fishing villages that rise and fall with the tides. In each of these places, nature tells a different story of light and shadow, of dryness and abundance, of humankind and what it chooses to preserve. In the next episode, we will leave the shadowy canopy behind and journey into Brazil's other wild frontiers. Lands that may seem forgotten, but are simply waiting to be heard.